The Miami Heat turned in an inspiring season. No one predicted they would make the finals. This Heat team was considered the underdog the entire postseason and proved all their doubters wrong. It's really amazing to me to see how far this team has come in the past few seasons. If y'all remember, just a few years back, most people thought this team was stuck in mediocrity for the foreseeable future, but somehow the godfather Pat Riley did it again. He drafted amazing young players in Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro, and found overlooked young gems in Kendrick Nunn and Duncan Robinson. Then found a way to bring in a two-way superstar in Jimmy Butler, and did so unapologetically. I remember a lot of pundits out there were scratching their heads at Riley signing a so-called aging disruptive star. The Miami Heat do things their way and now have shocked the world, and have one of the brightest futures in the NBA, considering they got their veteran all-star, a young core, and will be armed with max cap room in just one season. In this video, we will do a realistic breakdown of the next 2 seasons for the Miami Heat, who they should bring back this offseason, and how to best prepare for 2021 free agency. We all know that the Heat will try and sign Giannis, but we will also discuss what Pat Riley's Plan B and Plan C options will be if they fail to bring in the Greek Freak. But before we jump into it, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button as it helps my channel tremendously with the YouTube algorithm. I really do appreciate it, guys. And remember to subscribe and turn on the bell notification so I could keep getting new content out to you. And check out the playlist in the description section on other teams' 2-year outlooks I find interesting. Also, let me know in the comments section which other team's 2-year outlook you would like me to make next, and I'll make it based on which team gets most requested. The Miami Heat will need to tread carefully this offseason. They need to prioritize continuity, considering this team has such amazing chemistry and success on which to build on, and simultaneously maintain cap flexibility for 2021 free agency, when they will be set to have max cap space. Their 2 key free agents this offseason will be Goran Dragic and Jay Crowder. Both guys were instrumental to this amazing postseason run that he just had. Dragic has been a fantastic leader and locker room presence for this team. All of his teammates love playing with him. He's also been huge for the young guys who he's taken under his wing and has helped mentor and give guidance. The Heat need to bring him back for team chemistry alone. Dragic has also led by example and has been incredibly productive in his 6 seasons with the Heat. He also consistently elevates his game in the playoffs. This season, he went from averaging 16.2 points on 44% shooting from the field, 3.2 rebounds, and 5.1 assists, to 20 points on 45% shooting, 4.2 rebounds, and 4.7 assists, all the while rarely turning the ball over. At age 34, he may want one final long-term contract, but I think the Heat can persuade him to stay on a massive 1-year deal worth 20 to 24 million. This way, the Heat will be able to pursue a max level free agent in 2021. I can see Dragic re-signing after his bloated 1-year deal expires on a discounted price, but on a multi-year deal. That way he can compete for a championship for the remainder of his career on a team he loves. Jay Crowder has been a journeyman for most of his career. He is known for his toughness and ability to defend multiple positions. Crowder also has the ability to knock down open threes, which is important. It looks like he finally found a home with the Miami Heat, where he was one of their key role players. They should also bring him back on a generous 1-year deal. They can give him a 1-year deal worth roughly $15 to $18 million, with the understanding that he will re-sign on a discount in 2021. Crowder has publicly stated that he wants to remain with the Heat, which isn't a surprise considering he fits perfectly in Heat culture. I do think this deal gets done. I strongly believe that if they just bring everyone back next season, they will be right back in the thick of things, competing for the championship. I envision this team getting better with a continued internal development of Bam Adebayo, Tyler Herro, Duncan Robinson, and Kendrick Nunn. Also, it's now abundantly clear that the Heat bringing in Jimmy Butler has paid off. Many thought it was risky for the Heat to trade for him, considering he had a problematic reputation and was already 30 years old and not on the same timeline as the young guys on the team. Clearly, those pundits were wrong, as he took this team to another level and fits perfectly with Heat culture. He ended up averaging nearly 20 points, 6.7 rebounds, 6 assists, and 1.8 steals per game. Also, the advanced analytics were on his side, as he was 10th in the league in box plus minus, 8th in win shares, and 13th in player efficiency rating. This all earned him an All-Star appearance and an All-NBA third-team selection. He was the leader this team needed for its development. Bam Adebayo is already a surefire two-way All-Star who is dangerous on the offensive side and is a fantastic passer and can guard all 5 positions. He has a very bright future in his league and at 23 years old isn't even close to hitting his prime yet. I only see him getting better and better. Tyler Herro has proved that he will be an All-Star for the Heat in the long term. Pat Riley really nailed his draft selection. The kid is a shot maker with supreme confidence and is still not even legal drinking age. He has really stepped up in the playoffs, averaging 16.6 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 3.7 assists, and was the youngest player in NBA history to start a finals game. He has showed everyone he isn't afraid of the big moment. The sky is the limit for Herro, and I envision him making the huge jump next season. The Miami Heat were an elite three-point shooting team as they ranked second in the league in three-point percentage, and Duncan Robinson was a huge reason for that, as he averaged astronomical numbers from behind the arc, making 44.5% of his 8.3 three-point attempts and scored an efficient 47% from the field. He is only now entering his prime at 26 years old, and I can see him putting up these kinds of numbers for another decade as his game looks to age well. Then there's the undrafted rookie Kendrick Nunn, who just finished second in Rookie of the Year voting after averaging 15.3 points, 2.7 rebounds, and 3.3 assists, all while rarely turning the ball over. He was also the first undrafted player in NBA history to win multiple Rookie of the Month awards. Kendrick Nunn was Miami's starting point guard up until a positive COVID test delayed his arrival to the Orlando bubble, where proven vet Goran Dragic won back his starting spot. He pretty much fell out of the rotation in the playoffs, but has shown plenty of promise. Going forward, I see him as a huge piece to this team's future. The Miami Heat have a ton of depth as they can go 9 players deep on any given night. With continued player development and with the chemistry they already established, I see this team again getting out of the Eastern Conference next season. 2021 free agency will be a busy one for the Heat. Not only will they have a ton of cap space to go after Giannis or some other max free agent, but they will need to re-sign their own guys as Goran Dragic and Jay Crowder will again become free agents, and both Duncan Robinson and Kendrick Nunn will need to be re-signed. Pat Riley was one of the key figures that persuaded LeBron James and Chris Bosh to join the Heat back in 2010 that netted Miami 2 championships and will again be a key figure this time around. Pat Riley again restrained his team's spending, which will prepare them to max out a free agent in 2021 that promises to have one of the best free agent crops in recent memory. We all know who Pat Riley's first target will be, but he will most definitely have a Plan B and Plan C option, which we will go over as well. His first order of business will be to persuade Giannis Antetokounmpo to join the Heat. I think the Greek Freak will have many suitors, but it will ultimately come down to 3 teams in my opinion. The Milwaukee Bucks, Toronto Raptors, and Miami Heat. I do think the Dallas Mavericks will have a slim outside chance as well, and will most definitely try and persuade him to team up with fellow superstar Luka Doncic, but I don't think the Mavs provide as clean a fit, and even though Giannis is one of the more humble superstars in the league, I think he would want his own team. Ultimately, I believe the Greek Freak will leave the Bucks. Even though their front office has promised to spend big if they need to, they are a low-key aging team and already blew it when they were too cheap to re-sign Malcolm Brogdon, who was the second best player on their team the year they lost in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Raptors. If he takes a good look at the Bucks' future, he will see that they don't have the pieces or resources for long-term success. I know he will strongly consider staying with one team his whole career, but unless he wins a championship next season with the Bucks, which I don't see happening, he will make the smart decision and leave in free agency. His choice will come down to either the Miami Heat or the Toronto Raptors in my opinion. This will be a very tough decision for him. The Heat will have their famous culture, an all-star vet and leader in Jimmy Butler, a nice young core that complements his game well, an all-star Bam Adebayo, and probable future all-star Tyler Herro, which presents long-term success, and shooting to surround him with, which he desperately needs considering he can't shoot and needs the lanes to open up for him. Giannis will also be the number 1 option on this team. This will not only be an offensive nightmare, but a defensive monster. The Toronto Raptors will also be an incredibly attractive option for Giannis. They also present a strong young core that can help him have long-term success. Pascal Siakam is a legit top 20 player and is in the beginning of his prime. He has become an all-star and an all-NBA talent, and will be the perfect Robin to Giannis' Batman. The Raptors will also have Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby, and a talented veteran and leader in Kyle Lowry, who will surely be returning on a team-friendly deal. Most of these guys are in the exact same timeline as Giannis. In addition to all that, I believe he has a special connection with Raptors superstar executive Masai Ujiri, which might tilt his choice to the Raptors ever so slightly, but it's hard to predict. Either way, both are fantastic options, and I think the Heat have a strong and realistic shot at luring him to Miami. If bringing in Giannis doesn't work out, Pat Riley will have amazing Plan B and Plan C options. Victor Oladipo will be someone the Heat should go after if he can prove he can stay healthy for an entire season and bring that same kind of production he had before his injuries that netted him an All-NBA spot. If that is the case, Oladipo should be a very good two-way player who can create his own shot, play very good defense, and play three positions. He can play the point guard, shooting guard, and at times fill in at the three spot. The Miami Heat value players who give them versatility, options, and who can fill different roles. Oladipo will also provide the Heat with another shot maker at the end of games. Teams will never know if it will be Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler, Tyler Herro, Bam Adebayo, or even Goran Dragic, who will sink a dagger to win the game. Oladipo has made it clear he is leaving the Indiana Pacers and will likely be traded this offseason, but I think the Heat need to restrain themselves from trading for him, considering they don't know what kind of player he will be next year, and giving up assets simply isn't worth it. They don't know if he can return to his former All-NBA self. Pat Riley would need certain assurances and will be watching him very closely next season wherever he ends up. If Oladipo proves he isn't that All-NBA superstar anymore, the Heat will have a very nice Plan C option. Jrue Holiday will be a free agent and would fit perfectly in Heat culture. While he may not generate global buzz, guys in the basketball world know what he brings to the table. Holiday gets a ton of respect from his peers and from executives across the NBA landscape. He is another great two-way player who can play both a point guard and shooting guard position. He can facilitate for others and create his own shot. Holiday is also one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA. Imagine Jrue Holiday and Jimmy Butler playing together and locking up the perimeter. They would be a great fit together. If he is available and healthy, he will be an incredible Plan C option, and honestly, I think Holiday could even be considered their Plan B option over Victor Oladipo, depending on who you talk to. I don't think there's a huge gap between the two players. If healthy, Victor Oladipo will likely have the edge because he's 2 years younger. After maxing out their prize free agent, the Miami Heat can move quickly to re-sign Goran Dragic, Jay Crowder, Duncan Robinson, and Kendrick Nunn on fair market deals. The Heat will have their bird rights, so they shouldn't have any issues bringing them back, and they will not have any problems paying all these guys considering they will be contenders, if not favorites, to win it all. It really is amazing how far this franchise has come the past few seasons. It is a fantastic time to be a Heat fan, and I can see this team being competitive for the next decade. What do you guys think? If Pat Riley fails to secure Giannis, who do you think should be their Plan B and Plan C options? Also, again, let me know in the comment section which other team's 2-year outlook you would like me to make, and I'll make it based on which team was most requested. And again, subscribe and hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. Till the next one, guys, I'm out.